All right, what's going on YouTube? Then you're back here for another video. So this one is something that I stumbled upon actually. I've always had maybe a suspicion that some people had or some people didn't, but I was finally confirmed with it today. So you can see from the title, essentially it's commitment, and some people think it's found, but it's actually demanded from yourself. So basically the story was I was doing my thing in terms of work. I have a roommate, and more or less the same thing in terms of offering coaching. So he had a sales call, and essentially I was overhearing him with his potential client, and they were speaking, and essentially this he asked some questions, obviously to get pain points out of him and see more or less if he's actually committed. And essentially he asked him like if you don't go on the program or don't have me to coach, what's your next few steps going to look like? Obviously, he said, "Oh, it's going to be bad." And then he said, "Is this something you need or just something that you want?" And then basically, this guy rationalized that, "Oh, I don't need it, but like, there's something I have to do, but like, I don't need it." So I mean, like, this is this kind of like attitude of like you're there, like you want to do something, but you like it's not a necessity. It's something I realized that is what people lack in terms of commitment. For this guy, essentially, what he was thinking is like, oh yeah, one day I'll just kind of find the commitment to do it because he knew he needed commitment, right? Anything that you do in terms of health, which is a big space, anything in general, all areas of life need commitment in order to improve. And essentially, some people like this guy, this gentleman, essentially think that it's something that's found. Like he thinks like, oh, if I wait a bit longer, God or something's gonna just give me ultimate commitment. I'll be able to be committed forever. But essentially, we have to understand if you're watching this, is commitment isn't found; it's demanded. So you have to demand commitment from yourself every day. There's that version of you that you're battling with, which is basically like your primal version. It's kind of just wants to do the basics. So the thing about your brain is it doesn't really care about your dreams or that version of self that you see. It's basically just built on a primal level. So it just wants to reproduce, eat, keep you alive. So that's why fear and stuff like that. It doesn't. Fear is kind of something that feels like will kill you. So keeps you kind of trapped in this prison. So essentially, you have to realize is like I mentioned, your brain is on your side in terms of keeping you alive, but it's on your side in order to like grow as a person, reach new levels, reach new peaks and heights. And essentially, like I said, this has to be demanded from you. So if you're trying to commit to an area, it could be fitness, it could be finances. Every day you're battling against that primal brain, that brain that just wants to sleep in, be comfortable, just maybe even chase women, just have sex. And this is something that not many people understand. They kind of think, oh, my brain's on my side, but it's on your side to keep you alive, but it's on your side to like excel. Your brain's very rarely, unless motivated somehow by something external, will be on your side to like wake up every day on time, and you have no issue doing the hard things, like, putting the extra hours at work. Um, you know, maybe with fitness, just pushing yourself harder. It's very rare that some people have that. Those people are very purpose driven, so they're kind of doing something above themselves. They're essentially thinking, for something of the greater humanity, and the at that point it's just very spiritual. It's not even mental anymore. You're just in a different plane altogether, and you're just doing things that not even like are of this world. But essentially, that's like the ultimate level. But what we have to understand is like I said, you're battling this brain always, this primal brain. And if you're not demanding commitment, like demanding it literally, like to the point where like there's almost like an anger from your higher self towards this like primal self of like, hey man, let's fucking do this, right? Like, it's a tough love on yourself as opposed to you thinking like, oh, like we're both on the same team. You are, like I said, but it's not like that. The primal level, the primal brain, wants to do what this person wants to do, right? So this person wants to do one thing. Your higher self, the person that can kind of observe his brain, his thoughts, has one agenda, and this person has another agenda. His agenda is very just super like just par level of like keep him alive. You know, don't do anything that would keep him or make him be put in danger and try to reproduce, right? That's why, for men watching this, when you, let's say, have sex with somebody or even just like masturbate, do your own thing, once you do that, you just realize how much energy you lose because essentially your brain kind of just says like, oh, okay, fuck, my job's finished. Like, reproduce. Essentially, when you masturbate, you're tricking your brain to like, you just had sex with somebody. So that's when you kind of, have low energy. You can even take a nap. You just kind of feel like, oh, fuck, like all my energy's gone. And essentially, that's one of the jobs of the brain, is like to find a mate, and once it reproduces, like, okay, my job's done, right? So it kind of just becomes lazy. It's like, okay, like, now it's just keeping you alive. So it's like there's two main things: it's keeping you alive and reproducing. So I'm not sure where I went with that, but essentially, yeah. So understanding that level of your brain is like the biggest key. And like I said, just always demanding like a commitment, right? Like you just have to understand that it's your brain is on your team, but it's not on the same agenda. And just having almost that, like, I guess, gritty mindset of like, it's going to get tough, so you're just ready to, kind of put on your gloves and just do the work that has to be necessary, right? Like get your hands dirty, have that edgy, gritty mindset, and just know that anything that you're committing to has to come from that higher self. That primal brain is just going to do the bare minimum, and you have to keep pushing yourself with that. So hope that does help with understanding that commitment is something that is demanded. You have to ask from it every day. Like I said, most days it will be tough. Well, obviously, your goal is to get momentum with anything you're doing. Obviously, habits will start ingraining in your identity, so things will be more and more easier. But obviously, the things that you're looking to do, you're going to keep growing as a person, learning new things, and essentially you have to be committed to the process. Is the biggest thing, right? So like, asking commitment of yourself, of how committed really are you? Like how committed are you to being consistent? And this comes from constant just reevaluating what you want, and this comes from asking yourself, these questions of like, am I really in this to win, or am I just in this to like make it, comfortable, things can be comfortable, because it's not. So just always assess that. It's demanded. Always demand it from yourself. Don't expect it to be handed to you like one day. Oh, I'm forever committed. This journey is gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. That's the whole reason. The whole battle is with your higher self and your primal brain. So hope that helps. If you want to follow and connect more personally, I'll be on Instagram. I have people there with nutrition, finding their best self through my Demand Vitality program. So you can talk more there, see more about that. If you like the video, more coming. Like and subscribe, and yeah, keep killing it.